everyone doing? Well, thank you for coming to this panel on Sunday.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's been 8 years since I've been here at MegaCon.
The go.
There was supposed to be an overhead projector here because I usually draw and try to draw and talk at the same time and then give away art. And so we may get it here. Yeah. But we can still talk until it comes. I can still draw, actually. You just can't see what I'm drawing.
Get Albert on it.
Yes, yes. Hold on. Let me get set up here. How many of you have been to one of my panels before, live in person? Oh, a lot. Okay, and so about maybe a third of the people. Yeah, so I usually keep it pretty light. It focuses mostly on my career, so it's less about publishing initiatives. There's a distinction, I think, between when I go to a show as like the DC publisher president and when I go to a show as generally the very late artist. So they're two different things. Anyway, so yes, I talk a little bit about the creative process. You get to see it. We draw live, and then we give the sketches or sketch away at the end to people in the audience. So we'll still do that piece, you just might not necessarily see it live. So I don't know if anyone had any questions that you wanted to open up with. I could certainly, that gentleman right there.
I'm very awkward, I apologize. Oh,
Thanks.
it's not working. I don't know.
It's not plugged in.
These things frighten me.
Yeah.
Get closer to it.
I guess it is working. Oh, hi there. I wrote my question down because I'm incredibly awkward and frightened of humans.
You know what?
Give me just a moment.
I think they're.
Okay,
we are one. We are one.
I'm here for myself. So this is a semi.
I'm here by myself too. Sadly, we are one.
So we get two sort of blips of a beef between Red Hood and Grifter throughout the series of comics, one in Countdown and another in Urban Legends. So I just wanted to ask, with you being the creator of Grifter, what is your personal take on the beef between Red Hood and Grifter and how that would go down?
That's a very specific question. I don't have a particular point of view when it comes to the Wildstorm characters. I think, there's two ways you can approach it. One is, hey, I'm the creator of these characters, and every creative decision has to be decided by me.
Right.
And I think that's perfectly valid. I think it's very restrictive and not very conducive to creative development, right? Because sometimes a creator comes in after you and redefines a character that you created for the better. And there are many examples of that throughout the history of comics. I mean, you can look at a character like the Golden Age Green Lantern, right? He's very different. Alan Scott's very different from Hal Jordan, right? And so I think there are opportunities where people come in after you and redefine the character in unique ways. So, there have been 2 or 3 different initiatives with Wildstorm characters in the DC universe. Warren Ellis did, his run on it. Matt Rosenberg. So I appreciate the fact they do different things. I don't know if I would have necessarily done those things as the creator. And I always feel like, well, if I feel that strongly about a take they've done on a character, I should sit down and do my take on it and do like another, Wildstorm run or Wildcats run. And that's something that's definitely in my very short book of projects that I think I still have left in me. So the answer, I don't have a specific answer for your question, but I think it's more on a general philosophical level. I don't, people go like, oh, look at Jim, he's trying to push this character or that character. I don't make those decisions. The editors and the creatives do. So it's not, if you love it, it's not me. If you hate it, it's definitely not me. So I really do like to let the editors and the creators, if they have a spark for it, more power to them. And if it goes off the tracks, I can always come back and say, here's what I would do with the characters now. And I do have within me an idea of doing Wildcats alone in a standalone, separate universe, no other DC characters.
Please do. I would sell my soul for that.
Yes.
All right, we'll start. All right.
Yes.
That's good.
I'm bringing my soul.
That's appetizing. Thank you for your support. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Well,
Yes.
I would use that as sound for this, but I guess there's nothing.
Excuse me? You had the same question? No.
Yeah, for the last couple of years now, I like a lot of the older characters from DC are coming back in, and like and some of them have not been seen for like decades or maybe since the 60s. Is this like
Redman or something? Or?
What?
No, I'm just thinking of characters that. Like what characters?
Let me see, to bring back Sergeant Rock.
You want Sergeant Rock back?
No, at what other times do they bring them back at various different decades?
Yes.
Like, what's the shortens from that?
Shortened? What do you mean?
Like how a lot of them will kind of not in publication for like say 20, 30 years,
Yes.
and then suddenly they are back in again.
Right.
What would you say would be the factors behind it?
Generally low sales, no interest. That's usually the death knell for characters. That said, these characters live on forever. Even like lame characters like Airwave, sorry, the Airwave fans, you know. And I always bring him up because there was a guy that used to be on our staff in sales who loved Airwave, and I did a sketch for him in a sketchbook, and I said, whatever you want. And he's like, Airwave. I'm like, Airwave? you're gonna waste this on Airwave? Whatever. But he loved the character. So it kind of taught me that every single character, lame or not, like the Airwave, has a fan that really, they love that character. And so I truly do feel that every character will have their day in the sun, and they might not live on the pages of a comic, but they live in the back of our heads, you know, in our fandom. And then if you were to become a professional, you would pitch whatever project, and if we loved the pitch, we would publish it, and that's how these characters sort of resurface, even if we thought they were dead as a doorknob or whatever, that there was no interest. So, yeah, it really comes down to creators really having a passion for particular characters, and then editorial sort of strategies or initiatives to bring back a lot of these characters. So what you're seeing I started really with Dawn of DC, and now with Next Level, is taking a lot of our, what we call sort of mid-tier characters, dusting them off, giving them new life, contemporizing, refreshing some of the backstory to make them feel more contemporary, and that really is the game that we're in, right? We have thousands of characters, a few that are iconic and super popular, and others that have their day in the sun and kind of fade away, and sometimes they have like 4 or 5 different origins, and kind of our mission is to like go through the library of characters and say, hey, here's this character, is there a cooler way of doing this character today? And hopefully we can find an audience, and that's really the fun of what we do editorially is try to figure out what that secret new formula is, and sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. And so, even the Absolute line, which is just killing it, if you really think about it, it's taking these characters and just doing something different in a modern, contemporary way, and we thought it would be successful because they're iconic characters, but obviously it has sort of far surpassed that and really kind of hit a nerve with the audience, and having that kind of reaction. And I want to thank you guys for the support of that line, and actually the whole DC line in general has just had a banner year last year. That's why we get up in the morning, that's why we got into comics. So I think every character, even if we don't publish them, there's always talk behind the scenes that we should do something with this character. We should do something in the war vein, the romance vein, and we are developing initiatives around that. So that's a bit of a spoiler, but just know that we love the characters as much, if not more, than you guys, and we're always thinking of ways to figure out how to bring them back and give them a chance of success.
Hello.
Hello. It's just, if you were watching, this is what I've done so far. It's just a very simple, it's a very standard, it's like a very complex signature on my part. I can kind of do it half asleep. I'm awake though, yeah. I would not shortchange you guys any iota of talent. Yes, go ahead.
Growing up, my sister and I loved your depictions and basically your version of the X-Men team throughout the
Well, thank you. Where's your sister now? Oh, she's there here too. Okay, I just want to make sure that she still kept up with you.
We especially love the fighting games that used your designs of the characters.
Like the Capcom
Yes.
Street Fighter versus
Yes,
Marvel games,
exactly.
right? You know that I work at DC Comics now, right? Just want to make sure.
Yes.
You have 3 seconds left.
When drawing a character, in the moment of drawing a character, what's in general your biggest spark, especially like having them in an action pose?
My biggest spark? What do you mean?
Yeah,
like,
in the moment of just drawing a character whenever, if it's for a continuing story or like carrying a story in a comic, or if it's just drawing a cover, or right now even in the moment in a panel like this, when drawing a character.
These are harder than my essay questions. Someone asked me earlier today, I don't know if they're here, like, when you draw Batman, what's the feeling you get? And I was literally stumped. I was like, oh, you're setting up great. Yeah. And it's like, your question's similar to that. What would be a good answer to your question? No, I'm going to put it back on you. I want to hear what a satisfying answer would be. It might not be my answer, but it will give me a sense into what you're looking for.
All right. I actually used to be a Taekwondo college broomstick performer.
Yeah, me too.
And doing those movements, basically those martial arts forms.
Yeah.
Doing very individual movements and doing basically different poses at one time, like doing one block or one kick and having just the moment of basically striking a pose.
Right.
I was thinking, like, when drawing a character in like an action pose on a cover or continuing like a battle scene, what's in general like for me, it would be it's kind of like, usually I try to think of myself as kind of like almost like a whip.
Whip?
Yes. And my whole body moves kind of at first kind of loose, and then it basically tightens and explodes at the end.
Got it.
And
Okay,
so-
that's exactly the feeling I have when I do it.
Alright.
No, I think what you're saying is you pull in the pose, you have now potential energy, what we call
Yes.
potential energy, like a ball on top of a hill, hasn't rolled yet. But once it starts moving, that potential energy gets converted into kinetic energy.
Yes.
That's exactly what I meant. So, but I don't think that. I just draw and go like, is this cool? No, it's not. I erase it. Is this cool? Maybe a little cooler. So it really is moving elements of a drawing around to unlock or enhance an emotional feeling. And cool is a very generic, very wide-ranging kind of descriptor of things. So it could be from, is this sensual? Is this provocative? Is this threatening? Is this intimidating? And there's so many little things that come together to create that emotional response from someone who looks at the drawing. The amount of shadows, the angle that I'm shooting at, the size of the figure in relationship to the figures behind them. All those things are important. And so it's a very complex formula. I'm sort of juggling a lot of different factors in my head. And ultimately, that's kind of what's going through my head. I don't know if that's a normal thing. Probably not, you know, but that's kind of my process. And if you've ever watched me draw for real on YouTube, I think there's a stream, I think 5 or 6 hours where I finished a page or a cover live. You can see it, there's a lot of erasing. I'm just moving little things around and trying on different things. It's kind of like, I don't know if you have someone in your life that comes out and says, you like this shoe better or this shoe, right? Imagine doing that 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Right? That's what's going on in my head.
How it fits basically in relation to an environment or
Environment. It's a relationship to the drawing. Like, so I know that what I put on the piece of paper, I'm communicating an idea. Is it clear? Is it evoke emotion?
Yes.
Is it badass, right? So like, you know, is it, if it's just okay versus badass, you know, and usually when you do a cover, you want it to be closer to badass than okay, right?
Yes.
And that's kind of where I am. And then once it reaches a certain point, I think I've got what I need, then I can just move to completing it. You're asking a very
Esoteric.
esoteric, deep question, and that's the best I can do.
All right. Thank you.
I'm sure. What's upside down?
There we go.
And we have until 12:45 or 1?
Hey, Mr. Jim. My name is Mac. I'm a second generation Jim Lee fan. I absolutely love your work. Specifically, I love your
first generation.
Huh? My dad is here. He loves your work. I love your work. It's hereditary. I'm into comic books because he's into comic books. I love your work. I love specifically your Marvel and your DC. I love the cover that you did to the Marvel versus DC Omnibus. Who is your favorite character to draw? If you don't mind specifically, either Marvel or DC, because I know you've done both universes before.
What's your favorite character?
Who's my favorite character of either universe?
That I've drawn.
That you've drawn?
Yes.
Probably Batman.
Okay, and then on the Marvel side?
Probably Wolverine.
Okay, that's pretty, yeah.
My favorite Marvel character is Spider-Man, but I'm not as familiar with your Spider-Man.
Yeah, so that would say that's my least favorite character to draw.
Ah.
No offense, I love the character, but he's a pain to draw. So he, Spider-Man. I love drawing all the characters, but here are the worst. Okay, Spider-Man, Aquaman, Captain America. Anyone that has chainmail on their tunic, right? And unfortunately, when I was drawing the Justice League on New 52, I decided I was going to draw chainmail on Aquaman's tunic, and I regretted that. Literally, like, to the gentleman that was asking, like, what goes through my head, it's like, F-bomb, F-bomb. Who the heck did this? And if you notice, I fake it. Like the chainmail, John Cassidy did a good job of it. The chainmail, he drew all the chainmail. I would draw the chainmail, and then I would render as if the muscles could shine through the chainmail scale on top, which is impossible, right? So I cheated. I hope you're still a fan, but that's yeah. I like drawing all the characters. Really, I really do. If we draw the same character over and over, it gets very boring. And that's why drawing Batman with like Robin was a lot of fun. Drawing Wolverine with Psylocke and Jubilee, because they all have different body gestures, expressions. If you're drawing the same character over and over, you start getting a little burnt out. But in that particular cover, I really enjoyed drawing the Hulk. He's a fun character to draw. There's not really a Marvel equivalent. We try to create Marvel, or we've tried to create DC equivalents to it, with probably middling success, ultimately. Spider-Man is fun from the poses, and I drew him in this Superman Spider-Man crossover that comes out next week. And I thought I did an okay job with him, but
but the webbing, it's just, I curse Steve Ditko. No, but it's not just that you have to draw them, they have to go along the form, and then each here, hold on, each.
You're not the first person I've heard say that.
Yeah. So like each thing here has to hit just the right space. And see, I went a little over already. Like, oh my God, I've ruined everything. Like, oh my God.
Didn't work well.
And I don't like the black costume either, so it's too simple. So Spider-Man, I enjoyed it though, but I will never do it again. Okay. Anyway, so but Batman and Wolverine are yes,
Okay.
they're the two funnest characters to draw for sure. But I enjoy drawing Daredevil, the Hulk, on the Marvel side. Even Thor's a lot of fun, just because he's such a over the top. I'm trying to be polite, but yeah, he's. And then on the DC side, I love the Legion of Superheroes. A lot of fun to draw those characters. Wonder Woman, just because there's so many different kind of costumes you can put her in that work so well. Yeah, but I do this for a living. I have to. I'm not so specific that I say I won't draw this story because I don't like drawing this character. I'll figure out a way to do it, including Spider-Man.
Thank you very much.
Hello there, Mr. Jim.
Yes.
It's an honor to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm a big fan of Wildcats, the comic from the 90s.
Yes, I remember it. Yes.
Had a great cartoon too, awesome theme song. Whoever composed it, great job.
Yeah, thank you.
Right, so Mr. Lee,
yes.
I myself would like to be a comic artist and writer. Well, I'm trained to be one, and I need advice from you just on how hard should you work? Because I work a part-time job
As a writer?
As a writer and artist, both. Because I work a part-time job to pay my bills, pay the rent, I do all that.
Yeah.
Now I can draw like, say, 4 hours a day. I can keep that up consistently, and then other people tell me you don't want to do that because you'll burn out, and then you won't like drawing anymore. And I'm like, well, I need to hear this from a pro then, because like comics are a serious business. I know it takes a lot of work. So please tell me, like, what do you yourself recommend? I'm ready to put in the work required.
Are you? Okay.
Yes.
There was a woman that was in line. She asked me something to that effect, and I said, "Have you heard of the 10,000 hours? Have you heard of 10,000?"
Yeah, it takes 10,000 hours to master any skill.
Yes.
Right? Whether you want to be a violinist or a pool shark or a comic book artist, right? And if you look at my career, I would say I improved my abilities from project to project, Alpha Flight to Punisher War Journal to X-Men. But I don't think it was a coincidence that when I worked on the X-Men, I had been in the industry for about 3 years. So if you draw 10 hours a day, 365 days a year, that's 3,650 hours times 3. It's a little over 10,000 hours. And I started working on the X-Men in my 3rd year in the business. So 10,000 hours is what you need to log in for both writing and art. That's 20,000 hours. That's a lot. So I would pick one or the other, honestly, to start. And it's not like you're going to be bad and then you get good at 10,000 hours. You'll see incremental gains and improvement. But 10,000 hours is really what you need to log in. So if you're doing 4 hours a day, it's about 6 or 7 years before you really are probably going to be at a point where you can get professional work, in my opinion, right? So
I understand.
Yeah, so there are no other magic shortcuts. People go like, what pencil should I use? What pencil should I use? There's a lot of information on YouTube and things like that. But ultimately, it's the amount of time it's like if you're going to be a pilot, it's the number of hours you put in the seat that determine whether you become a qualified, decent pilot that should risk their life in a plane. Luckily, with drawing, you don't have that risk. But other than embarrassment, I guess, but at the end of the day, yes, 10,000 hours, right?
Yes, sir.
So you're on your start, 4 hours a day. I would up that up to 6 or 8. I understand you have a day job. That's where it gets very, very challenging, right? Finding the time in the day to do that.
Okay, thank you.
Did that sound inspirational, or did it?
I'd say so.
Did it? You said. Okay. I'm gonna fine tune that answer so it sounds more inspirational.
Of course, on your TED Talks.
Even I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that. And I did it.
Sounds like real truth.
Yeah, I was just like, yeah.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, it should be more like, yeah, you'll get there, just believe. Yeah.
So, just wanted to say first off, one of my first comics was your Justice Week number 11, New 52, wrapped off the shelf at Barnes & Noble and said, hey, that looked neat. So, thanks for giving my start there with that. And as to the actual question, you've had a long and illustrious career, both independently, DC, and Marvel. And I was curious what you would say the creative differences are between each company, how at liberty you felt with different characters, and essentially where do you feel most fulfilled when you're doing your work?
Where do I feel, or what?
Yeah, do you, like, to clarify,
Yeah.
do you find it, did Marvel give you good liberty to do what you wanted versus how DC likes to handle things? Do you feel a limitation between the companies?
Sure. Well, I run DC Comics, so it would be awkward if I said I don't really like working there because they don't treat talent right. So I have a pretty good situation. It can lead to awkward moments because people that I work for me, right? So, but we try to mitigate that with checks and balances and things like that. So, I've had it pretty good, to be honest, right? Even when I was at Marvel, yes, there were certain things that rankled me, but for the most part, I enjoyed it. I got to draw my favorite characters in the X-Men and got to help plot and direct the stories when I was there, and so I had a lot of fun doing that. And I think ultimately, beside the 10,000 hours and realizing a dream, you gotta have fun doing this, right? Like, who gets into drawing or writing comic books if you're not also trying to have fun? That is one of the chief perks of it. And the fun is in doing the storytelling, drawing and writing, but the fun is also going to conventions, meeting fans, sharing your fandom. I've had, really some awesome, I don't know if they're perks or just side quests where I got to be on Sesame Street, and I went to Kuwait and went to army bases as part of the USO tour to meet soldiers that were, we created many comic book conventions for them. So lots of really amazing adventures and things because of comics. So it's been a tremendously rewarding and fun career. I would highly recommend it to anyone in this room if this is something that you're interested in. It's really an amazing business to be in. But I truly feel most satisfied or gratified when I finish a page. It's eluded me recently, but there's a moment when you finish a project, you turn that last page. It is the best feeling, and I did that. I had that feeling with the Superman story I did. It was like 9 pages long. So I don't know if that answers your question, but it really is completing. It works on 2 levels. 1, doing the creative work, and 2, all the stuff that comes with doing creative work around characters that are so beloved around the world and the foundation of so much multimedia adaptations in business. All right.
Thank you so much.
Hi, Mr. Lee. I was fortunate enough to meet you yesterday, and you were able to sign my my first cover for the first issue I've ever worked on. And I was curious about your drawing speed, or just speed in general, because that's something that I struggle with. Like,
Don't we all?
I know, right? I'm wondering, is drawing faster a matter of speed or efficiency?
Is drawing faster a matter? Okay. So I've, you know, back when we were Wildstorm before we were part of DC Comics, it was an art studio. We had maybe like 6 or 7 artists that I'd bring in. And then they would kind of graduate and either become freelancers or stay in the studio, and then we bring another 6 or 7 artists. And then I've befriended a lot of artists in the industry, watched them work. Adam Hughes came to our studio and kind of hung out, kind of did a residency, Michael Golden. Everyone draws fast. I think it's how much time you put in the seat, you know? Like the speed at which you move a pencil across the paper, even if it's super slow like this, like you'll get the drawing done. It's really how much time you're able to focus and devote yourself to actually working or drawing. I think that's what kind of slows people down, is either being highly distracted or having other things going on in your life. You do need focus, I think, to do your best work. So I don't know, when do you like to draw?
Usually after work, I put like 2 hours into drawing, and I try to eliminate as much distractions as I can. So usually I have like some background music playing or a podcast, and I focus on trying to be more mindful of the lines I put down rather than trying to search for every single line, if that makes sense.
I think that's a good approach. I find that I like to draw most from 11 p.m. to 3 in the morning, which is not very healthy. It's serious, so yeah. And I've done that for many decades, and I can no longer do that, and so my efficiency or productivity has plummeted because of that. But man, when I have those hours, like the night is so still, there's just no distractions. In that 4-hour stretch, because I go like, wow, I'll just wake up at 6 in the morning or 5 in the morning, I'll work till 9 before I go to work or whatever. And I get maybe a fifth of the amount of work done. You know, it's really weird. So I think we all have natural periods of time where we're feeling most creative, but I love that moment in time. So that's a piece of it. You know, I think you're on the right track, having certain music or things that you listen to, having an environment that's conducive to creative output is also important. So, good luck with it.
Thank you, sir.
I have no problem. Yes.
I do a little drawing. I wanted to know what you feel is the most difficult character to draw.
Besides Spider-Man, horses are a pain in the butt to draw. Do you like drawing horses?
No, I don't.
See? I knew it.
I do draw.
You can see in your eyes.
I do draw.
Huh?
No, I do draw, but horses, no.
Yeah, drawing horses is like, it's learning how to draw humans, but in a completely different way. Because they have weird legs that go one way back and then another way back. Like it's like
Right.
They don't have an equivalent. And a lot of animals are like that. So it's not just like every animal has slightly different. Do horses they don't have arms? They just have 4 legs, right? So, but their front legs are different than their back legs, which makes no sense to me. I don't know. I try not to overthink it, but that's where.
You gotta think of it like a folding knife.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, the folding knife. That's it. That solves everything. Yeah, I don't know what was the question again? Sorry. Yeah. So, like I said, complicated costumes are slow. They kind of drive you crazy a little bit. Characters that don't have a lot of things on their body, like Daredevil and Superman, are essentially like naked figures with belt.
Those are difficult for you, right?
Belts. Yeah, no, because you can't hide anything.
Right.
Especially Superman, because he's usually in the sunlight. Like Batman, he's in shadow, and so you can put shadows, and that hides a lot of mistakes, and it looks cooler when you put more shadows on him. Superman looks weird having too many shadows, right?
Yeah.
So those are the kinds of things.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, what's going on, Jim?
Hey, how are you?
I'm not too bad, but
Not too bad.
I'm a lot more awkward, so
Yeah, what's going on?
no, it's just a little more daunting than I expected it to be. No, I have about kind of 2 questions here, but they're quick. One, as a fan of the characters, me personally, as a fan of the characters in the Milestone universe, I like to see that they are getting a lot of their due recently.
Yes.
This might not be as much of an answerable question because it might be more of a we'll see when we get there kind of thing. But I mean, in your point of view, do you see longevity with those characters? And the other question is...
With the Milestone characters?
Yeah, Milestone.
100%.
That's awesome. That's good to hear. The other question, as a aspiring artist myself, you know, over time, I definitely see a lot of development that I've had for sure, but I do find myself having to unlearn bad habits just due to the fact that, you know, it's really hard to find that right roadmap in terms of here's point A before you then get to point B, C, etc. I don't know what you might think in terms of if someone were just starting, what would be that point A to B and so on, if that makes sense.
You lost me at the last part, the point A to point B.
Yeah, so like what would you say in your point of view is like, here is the proper starting point as opposed to skipping, like what would be your idea of here's the first step and so on, so to speak.
As a artist that's evolving, or okay. So let me go back to the Milestone piece of it.
Yes.
Yeah, I love the characters. I love Reggie Hudlin, Dennis Cowan, the 2 principals driving that. We've done a bunch of projects with them. We're always talking about how to do new things with them. We have plans for some of those characters. I'll just say we have plans for some of those characters, and I'd love to expand that roster of characters as well.
Do you see those guys, do you see another Milestone initiative at any point?
I don't know if we'll do a Milestone initiative. That actually, we had a bank, we had an outside sponsor that came in and bankrolled that whole initiative. I think we brought in like 20 different creators from around the country. We flew them in. We had a whole creative, you know, on-site training session. It was really cool. But yeah, it was done in coordination with sponsorship because those kinds of things cost a lot of money to do.
Makes sense.
And out of that, we got some good creatives that are still working for us today. So I think it was a cool thing to do, very successful. You know, at the end of the day, it's a tough marketplace. It's very crowded, and you got to always figure out ways to stand out in that marketplace. And Dennis and Reggie are super smart, and so we meet on a regular basis and talk about what can we do next. How do we keep pushing this ball forward?
That's awesome.
Because I think ultimately, the way you make them sort of blow up bigger is you get something out of media, right? The static cartoon like created so many static Milestone fans, right? Because the reach of that is far broader than just publishing. And so part of our mission is like, all right, we're going to produce these amazing comic book stories, but with the hope and belief and confidence that these stories will spark some interest in some showrunner, some director, some actor that will want to do something with it. And that's where you kind of take it to the next level and it becomes a household name, right? Versus something that the core fans, comic fans know about, right? So that is a mission of ours. And then as far as going back to the art of it all, what was it?
Yeah, I'll try to keep it more simple. So if obviously, I'm not necessarily in that beginning stage anymore, but in the idea of scaling back to try and get a proper learning point, what would you maybe say is like the best point to like what is here is what to study first before anything else?
Oh, there's nothing to study. There's nothing to study. I honestly think that drawing 10,000 hours dwarfs the tools you use, what books you read. You know, I could tell you like 15 different shortcuts to like making better panels, how to make a face look more dramatic, but the underlying ability to draw that, you only get through 10,000 hours, right? Once you get the 10,000 hours, you'll then be able to easily apply little tricks of the trade to your work. But if you don't understand or have the ability to construct things that you can see in your head and make them look three-dimensional and resemble anatomy or whatever, perspective, the world, it's like a tennis pro trying to teach you how to become a tennis player. You never picked up a racket before. Like you got to get to a certain level of proficiency and ability before all that learning actually makes an impact, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just my experience. But I was in your shoes too. I was like, what do the pros use? What paper do they, what can you tell me? One thing that Terry Austin, the inker, told me very early on, he was one of the first pros I went to a convention, I was a fan, I went up to him and I said, here's my stuff, you have any words of advice? He looked at it and he said, no, it looks good. I think you're close. I think the only thing you need to do is draw more. And he was right. And I think that was, because you're waiting for make those thumbs bigger, put more treads on those shoes. It won't make a difference. You have to just do more of it. That's a big part of it. The biggest part.
Thank you so much.
Hey, Jim.
Hey,
Thanks for being here today. On Twitch, I'm Deadline Inker, so
okay.
Appreciate you streaming all that stuff. Real quick, because I think you inked on Punisher War Journal early in your career, right?
Yes.
So for somebody that struggles getting your pencils to translate the inks, meaning the inks don't look like the pencils, what are some common mistakes you see people make that they can correct to get their pencils to translate the inks? And also, for Twitch, I was wondering if maybe we could get a stream of Hush 2 page at some point in the future. Thanks.
Yeah, so two questions. One, the inking, it's just hand-eye coordination. Again, 10,000 hours. I started inking my own stuff. Punisher War Journal, did 12 issues of that. Got to a certain level of proficiency, but the hand-eye coordination, making the instrument do what you see in your head is a big part of it. And if you can get to the point where you use a brush, then you've kind of mastered at least the physical piece of it, meaning you can use a brush to get you, like a thinner, it's a thicker line, right? So if you can do that consistently, and throw lines, where they're parallel, well, those are not very parallel. Anyway. So being able to kind of become a human ruler or whatever, that's an important piece of it. So once you get past that, then you start thinking about line weights, you start thinking about shadows, dry brush. There's so many different, it's a tree of decisions that gets bigger and more complex as you learn more and more. And that's why I feel like, someone said I'm past the beginner stage. I don't know if that's a great mindset. I feel like I'm always at the beginner stage of whatever, penciling. I still feel like I'm taking in things, trying to get better, learn. Once you think you've gotten to a certain stage and mastered something, I don't know if that's a healthy place to be in, right? So artistically, right? You want to understand that no matter where you are in terms of success and your self-perceived ability, there's room to grow, room to learn. In fact, you need to grow and learn to keep up with the times in a way, right? So, I don't know if that helps you or not. But.
So, in other words, just draw.
Yeah. Oh, and then as far as streams, I used to stream on Twitch. What was it? Twitch.tv/Jim Lee. I haven't been on social media a lot. And we're at 12:45, so I wanted to kind of wrap it up by saying, I pulled back because I recognize how late I am on Batman Hush, Batman 163, and it got to the point where if I go on there and post, my daughter got married in January, and I've yet to put that up. I'm gonna wait till I get done with Batman and Hush before I put that up, because whatever I put up, somebody says, "Why aren't you finishing Batman and Hush?" I was like, that's what I told my daughters, like, can you postpone the wedding so that I can finish this conflict? Anyway, and in fact, when I came to this convention, I was a little, I didn't even promote it, I didn't even put it online that I was coming out here. I was a little fearful that I would come here and you guys would be booing me and going, I literally, this is what, like, this is how bad it got in my head, and going like, where's the damn book? And no one said that, and I'm like, well, I'm sure you thought of it, but people are very polite in person versus online, I guess. But ultimately, it is something I'm very kind of mortified and embarrassed by, that it's been so late. But I do want to share something, like, and I've kind of debated whether, and I didn't want to put online because you're speaking to the ether and there's no one there. But you're here, and I don't know if you have seen this. This is it's a secret society patch for people that are pre-diabetic or diabetic, and I was diagnosed as being pre-diabetic last summer, and going back to the time when I always had this extra gear where I would sit down at 11 o'clock and I could work till 3 or 4, get it done, sleep for 4 or 5 hours, go back to work. And I could do that for days. And that's how I did Justice League during New 52, Suicide Squad during Rebirth. And my doctor said, look, your glucose levels and your sugar levels are very high. And he said this, and this is what stuck in my head, like, the sugar is like acid in your veins. And I'm like, what do you mean? Sugar tastes good. How could it be bad for me? And the problem is, when I would work at 11, it wasn't just that I worked and got little sleep, but I would have these immense cravings for Taco Bell, ramen, anything carb. Like, it was a big piece of it, and I would yo-yo and weigh like 10. I gained like 10 or 15 pounds during a deadline. And it was a very unhealthy way to live, but that's how I worked for like 3 or 4 decades. It's my 4th decade in comics, my 40th year. And this is what my body was used to, and I'm now paying the price for this. And I was like, well, diabetes, there's medication. They gave me metformin, which is the most, I felt like I was poisoning my body. I had tremendous headaches and just be out of it, and nausea all day, and would just leave me very tired. But basically, if you let this progress, there's amputations in the future, floaters, and I've gotten more floaters in my right eye, and I thought that was just old age, but I am for sure, I think it's tied to this, and just general lethargy and tiredness. And so I've really had to prioritize my health over work output, and I try not to stay up past 1 o'clock. So hard, because I feel wide awake. I'm ready to draw, like I can do it. And I go, I'll just wake up early and draw in the morning. I wake up in the morning and I do like half as much as I would have if I just stayed up. And so it's been a real challenge mentally. So I can't do it through medication. I'm trying to do it through diet and exercise. And I've learned that your diabetic state is linked to diet, health, sleep, stress. And all those are really bad for me. And so it's been a really tough journey getting to the point where I feel like healthy and positive about how I keep my hours. But at the same time, like I said, I feel terribly disappointed in myself in my workout productivity. And it's just been very challenging. And even as I say this, I feel a bit self-conscious and nervous, but anyway, but that is the long and short of it. And at the end of the day, I'm not going to be able to solicit anything until I'm finished with projects. That's the promise I made to myself. It just means there'll be longer gaps between projects, but when they are announced, they will come out on time because the work will all be done. But yeah, that was it. But I wanted to thank you for coming here and being supportive. And lastly, you know, these conventions are really about celebrating the art form. I really love and appreciate the fact that you guys are here celebrating our art form, meeting the creators. You know, in recent years, we've lost a lot of great creators, friends.
Sam Keith.
People, yeah, Sam Keith just passed away on the 15th. People that are my peers, my age, people that are younger than me, and it is a wake-up call. You have a limited amount of time in life. There's a certain amount of creative work I want to do, but I also want to be there for my family and also enjoy my years of you know, back nine. And ultimately, I just want to thank you guys for being here and supporting comics. It's been a tremendous show, and the fact that this show now, I think, is the largest fan expo in their whole tour of shows, really shows how much. And mostly, you guys are mostly locals. I asked people in the lines where you guys are from, and most of you guys are from the Florida, Orlando area. So I applaud you guys for driving this regional show to becoming a major national stop for creators and comic book companies. So thank you very much, guys. All right, have a good one.
Thank you.
Give this away. So does anyone have a packet of mustard?
Me.
I've got red pepper
Whoever
flakes.
can show me that packet. There you
That was instantaneous.
go. And what's your name? Who should I make this out to? Christina.
Nice.
Sitting right in front of me.
H-R-I-S-T-I-N.
I was in Maryland. Did the same thing. I was thinking of bringing corn. Corn to support. Yeah. What date is that?